Hi friends, Dr. Nancy Trimbley here, Trimbley Chiropractic. Today we're going to talk about ice and heat and when to use them because you would think ice, heat, you have a 50-50 shot, but 75% of the time you get it wrong. So you are not going with the odds there. So we're going to talk about that. So here's the cardinal rule number one: when in doubt, use ice. When in doubt, use ice. So now we're going to discuss. When you have a fresh injury, like you've just fallen down the stairs and crashed yourself into the drywall on the landing, true story, just happened to someone I know a couple of days ago, and you fell on your shoulder, you fell on your hip, and there is inflammation, meaning it's a fresh injury. And this is natural for your body. Your body does this as part of the healing process. The body inflames. It draws chemicals to the injured area, which actually break down the injured tissue into little particles, so then the rest of the healing process can drain those healing chemicals away along with the debris of the injured tissue. That's what inflammation is doing. So it's not a horrible thing when you're injured, it's actually a good thing, but it is very uncomfortable. And if you do the wrong thing in this instance, you will feel 10 times worse. Not 2 times worse or 5 times worse, 10 times worse. So you've tumbled down the stairs, you crashed your shoulder into the drywall, you've landed on the stair on your hip, your foot got twisted, and when you go to touch those areas, it is super sensitive. Like you can't even press hard on those areas, it's so sore. That's inflammation. This is a moment for ice, 20 minutes of ice. And I am going to show you how to use ice, what's the best ways. So when you're in a pinch and you don't have an ice pack at home frozen, you can use peas, frozen peas. Now remember though, the reason why I say peas is because they will conform to the shape of the body part they need to go on, whether it's your shoulder, your butt, or your foot. You do want to take a towel and moisten it and put that around it, because believe it or not, you can get an ice burn if you put ice directly on your skin. There is some cheap ice packs you can keep in your freezer, and that might look something like this. It's a gel pack, it's squishy. Again, it will conform to the shape of the injured body part, and again, put a moist towel around it. This is ice that can burn your skin. The other thing you want to remember is that you can use ice cubes. They're a little bit hard to handle on an injured area, but another thing you can do is take a Ziploc bag, put some water in it with some rubbing alcohol, and put that in the freezer. The rubbing alcohol keeps the water from freezing solid. It keeps it slushy. So again, you can mold it around that injured area. A little side point here. Some people are allergic to ice, meaning their skin inflames and becomes extremely uncomfortable when they use ice. Now these people are rare. Don't be a sissy. It's gonna feel cold when you put it on there. But if you have an adverse reaction after you use ice, if your skin turns red and angry, you may have a quote allergy to ice. So when you first put ice on, when you put it on, it's of course gonna feel cold. Okay, let's not be sissies, it's gonna feel cold. But then what will happen after 5 minutes, it'll kind of feel tingly, maybe even warm. This is normal, this is what it's supposed to do. And then after another 5 minutes, it might actually hurt, but only for about 5 minutes, and then it goes numb. That's when you keep it on for another 5 minutes and you're done. Don't ever use ice for longer than 20 minutes. That's the typical time it takes for it to go through that process. Make sure you set a timer if you're going to rest, because when you're healing, you should be resting. So you're going to put the ice on, set a timer for 20 minutes, take it off. If you're resting, throw it on the floor, or if you're kind of up and about, put it back in the freezer, because in another hour, you're going to want to put it on again. So the optimal usage for ice is once an hour for 20 minutes. So that's ice. So when do you use heat? Heat is used if there's a muscle spasm or if it's an old injury like joint restriction from arthritis and it's not a fresh injury. So the key to using heat and knowing when to use heat, let's say my shoulder hurts and I press very deeply and I'm like, oh, that hurts, but in a good way. That's how you know to use heat. You're pressing deeply and it hurts in a good way. Remember with ice, it was, oh, I can't even touch it because it's so sore. So with heat, deep pressure is good. So there's a couple of things you can do for heat. We sell at the office these nice gel packs, nice and flexible. You put them in the microwave just for a couple minutes, and they come in two shapes: this big rectangular size that's for your lower back, and then this shape, which is actually molds around your neck. You can either use it with the convex portion going up so it gets the back of your skull, so if you get headaches, that's really good for that. Or if you tend to get shoulder tension, it's really good to do that. The other thing is a lot of people have these like bean packs. This might be called a bed buddy, and that's really good for this area. I mean, you can use it on any body part, but it's really good for wrapping around your neck. I have heard people who take rice, put it in a plastic bag and inside a sock, and then they tie it with a rubber band and put that in the microwave. I've not tried that one myself. If that works for you, let me know. It can work. I think you can use other things like beans, anything that holds water, you can put in the microwave. All right, so let's see. We covered ice and that when to use ice, how to use ice. For heat, there's no real time restriction. The time restriction, I mean, I would do it for at least 10 to 20 minutes, but you can actually use heat longer. If you tend to get a lot of tension in your neck when you sleep, you can put your bed buddy around your neck and just fall asleep with it. There's no time limit. All right, big question. You don't know what to do. You were out in the yard, you don't know if it's a fresh injury, is it an old injury? I still don't know. Is it good pain, is it bad pain? I don't know. You're dealing with a child who has an injury and he can't give you information. So let's see, this is what you do. You're gonna put heat on. If you think heat is the way to go, put heat on for 20 minutes, take it off, and then wait 2 hours. If you were wrong, you will feel worse after 2 hours. And then go to the ice immediately and stay with the ice. Other things people get confused with. You're supposed to be using ice, and you know that, but yet you think, oh, I'm just going to take a hot bath. No, that's heat. Or I know I'm using ice because it's inflamed, my back is inflamed, but I'm just going to get in the shower and let the hot water pound on my back. No, that's heat. I'm going to get in my car and turn my seat heater in my car way up. No, that's heat. So if you should be using ice, you need to avoid heat. So hope that helps. That's all for now. Remember, we're putting the knowledge and power of your healthcare back in your hands.